We're getting into On My Grind, and this is that segment where we speak to someone and get to hear their story, and you can learn a thing or two. Have you ever thought about moving out of the country? Have you ever thought about, there must be at least a point, yani ulisema, ndatoka hii country.
Wakati watu walikuwa napata huduma namba, mimi nitaka tu left.
You've never wanted to, live outside of Kenya?
I have.
Settle somewhere else?
I've always wanted Kwambox.
Yeah.
Uganda has been my...
That's the farthest you have gone?
Okay. Yeah. Sadly, yes.
For real? Like
yeah.
You're just like, if I was to leave Kenya, I would leave to a second-hand Kenya. It's pretty much the same. It's just that they don't have high-rise buildings and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So, okay, one country I've always wanted, let me say Italy, because of pizza.
Aren't you very lucky that was before COVID?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so on the line we've got Carol Wilhelm, and she's a friend of Vibes. One of the, she's always tuned in, and she's based in the United States, in a place called Maui in Hawaii, and she's Kenyan. We want to talk to her on how to make that relocation move. I know there's a lot of people unafikirianga kuhama country, lakini unaenda kwa ile nini booth huko Tao anakuambia kazi Dubai, kazi Saudi Arabia, unaenda unalipia hiyo something una 60k 80k 100k kidogo umeenda kwa slave bana. Slave. Yeah, so there are better ways to go about moving outside of the country, and Carol is here to speak to us. Let's hear from Carol. Carol, good morning.
Good morning.
How are
you guys doing?
Us guys are
We're
great.
good.
Fantastic.
Karibu sana
Hi,
to the
Brian.
show.
Hi.
Hi.
So Carol, we just want to get to get right into it. Maybe tell us a bit about yourself. When you were in Kenya, what were you doing? Were you born and raised in Kenya?
I was actually born and raised in Kenya. And went to school in Kenya, went to high school in Kenya, went to a boarding school actually, where I was a minority in that boarding school because it was full of Kikuyus, but that's neither here nor there. I was bullied a little bit for being different because I'm PC. And then I started acting in the Kenya National Theatre. And my parents were like, no, you're not going to be an actress. What are you talking about? You have to go to college and get a real degree. So, yeah.
So you put aside your acting dreams?
I didn't put them aside. My parents put them aside for me.
Okay.
I mean, and if back in the day, it wasn't lucrative to be an actress, in their opinion, because I knew there are some actresses and actors who are making a lot of money. Yeah, I assume, because there's people who look like they were living off of that career. But my parents didn't think that was a good idea. So my dad, behind my back, went and filled out information for me to come to university in America. Wow. So 2 weeks before I left, they were like, well, you cannot do that acting that you're trying to do, because there was a new play that was coming up, and I was going for auditions. And they were like, don't even bother. You're going to America. I was so mad. Because I didn't want to go to America. I wasn't those girls who were sitting there going like, oh my gosh, I want to go to America. I didn't want to do that. I didn't. I was content enjoying Kenya. I loved my country. So, yeah, it wasn't my thing. So they found me a school.
So Carol, we're going to take a short commercial break right there, at 15 minutes past 8 a.m. I know someone is listening in right now saying, mzazi alikuwa amekutayarisha kwenda Amerika. Wewe unasema hautaki kwenda Amerika. Hii shida iko wapi? Hatujui kuact. Tunarudi.
Good vibes only on Vibes Radio.
On My Grind currently going on, and on the line we've got Carol Wilhelm, and she's telling us her story of relocating to another country successfully. Carol, welcome back to the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So at this point, you are in the States, or you're in Kenya, you're moving to the States. Did you have any idea of whether you wanted to stay there, or you're just going to study and come back?
I was actually going to come study and leave. And even studying, like the first 6 months, I was like, why can't I just transfer to a nice university in Kenya? Why can't I be USIU Catholic University. I didn't want to stay here. I didn't. Yeah.
But I mean,
my parents were like,
usually, I mean, if you ask any Kenyan youth growing up, like, okay, maybe not everyone, but like majority, especially when you're growing up, you're like, damn, my parent tells me, stop acting, go to the States, I'm moving.
Not me.
So what was your experience like? What did you study?
Okay, so when I came here, my parents, being the ultimate PC parents they wanted me to be a pharmacist. But I came here, and it's not my wheelhouse. It's not what I'm good at, and so I changed my major into accounting, and so I actually graduated as an accountant. So I did that in Texas and moved to California so I did less than 2 years in Texas, and then moved to California and graduated in Cal State in California. And got married there and blah, blah, blah.
And did you ever think about coming back to Kenya?
I wasn't planning to stay.
Did you ever think about coming back to Kenya after your degree?
Yes, I was. So this is what ended up happening.
Yes.
When I graduated, everyone advised me, though, like, you need to do at least coursework, like, what do you call it, an internship, to figure this out, so that you don't go to Kenya not knowing how to work this job that you've actually gone to college for. So I was like, okay, great, I'm gonna do maybe a year of this and interning and getting to understand what my degree is about here, and then go back to Kenya. While I was doing that, I started singing, I started doing other fun things, and then I fell in love. The rest is history. I really wasn't planning to stay here. I was pretty much sure that after my 1 year of understanding what my major was and understanding my career as an accountant, I'll move back to Kenya and be an accountant and pursue my little dreams that I've had for years, that I thought were taken away from me. I was gonna work on doing those in Kenya, but it wasn't how.
Carol, now you're based in the States. There must have been what convinced you to stay? Because, you are now based in the States, and you had this, you were like passionate, you wanted to move back. What made you stay?
In all honesty, I fell in love with this place. Obviously, I was in love, but I fell in love with America for the simple fact that I hadn't been in Kenya for a while at this moment, and when I'd graduated, I was like, no, let me go back, and because I was trying to save all my money when I was here. When I was in college, I literally was working 2 jobs and going to school. So I wasn't those kids who their parents were sending money, and you just sit there and accept the money and go to school. I was one of those who actually was working for my school, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot of the fun college experience that a lot of people have, where they have to stay in sororities and they join clubs and stuff like that. I was literally like working and going to school. That was my life. So when I graduated, I started to find out what America is about, travel a little bit, enjoy some of what America has to offer.
And at that point,
my parents were like,
at that point, did you feel America had more to offer you than Kenya?
Because, okay, so this is the other part that my Kenyan parents and their friends, they convinced my parents that a little bit about like the accounting career in Kenya, like I might not be able to get good jobs. That's what I was told. I was like, really? I'm not going to be able to get a great job, a great career? They're like, well, you have to know people and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I don't want to waste my hard work because I put in a lot going to school, in my opinion. Like, I worked hard, and this was my blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I slept very little, few hours, like maybe 3 to 4, because I'm working and going to school and trying to make good grades. So I'm like, I can let me just enjoy this career that I worked really hard for. And then again, I fell in love, and this became home somehow.
Carol, we're going to take another short
But I
commercial break.
visited back
when we come back, we want to now get into your career and how you made a living in America, especially now you've gotten the education, because a lot of people get sent to the States, Brayo. Wewe unatuma States mazi haujai hata. Unajua ule uncle wako hata watu wamedwedi na hajai kuja.
Alidisappear tu.
Amedisappear kabisa. Student visa ndio ametani imekuwa living visa. America Trump anamtafuta. Yeye hata kazini haonekani. Anaonekana lakini yako America.
Amejificha tu chini.
Amejificha kwa sababu akionekana tu hivi. Ai, one time ticket true.
Anarudishwa Nairobi.
Lakini si unajua sasa hatuna international flights.
Good vibes only on Vibes Radio.
Yeah, big up yourself wherever you are. This is Morning Vibes. I'm your captain of Good Vibes. They call me Kwambox.
And Mbunde here in studio.
And the big question is, are you tuned in for On My Grind?
Kabisa.
There's a question we've asked there online. If you had the ability to relocate abroad, would you relocate? If yes, where would you move to? And shout out to Info Scientist who says UK. Mulama Nganya anasema, with the situation, I can't. Remember our guest for today is none other than Carol Wilhelm.
Yes. Welcome back, Carol.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Are there things that you wish you knew before you relocated out of Kenya?
Yes. One of the things I wish I knew is how hard it is for international students being in America. One, we are discriminated against, which is the truth. We are black. So first of all, when you're in Kenya, you're not a minority. You're the majority, right?
Yes.
So you come here and you realize, oh snap, I'm a minority here. Like, I'm black, but I don't even fit in with the African Americans. In fact, my biggest discrimination, I was discriminated against most by African Americans.
Whoa.
I had an accent and I was very dark skinned.
What?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I wish I knew that. Number two, I wish I knew how hard it is literally to, first, how much I'll miss home. I missed home for almost the first year of school. It was very sad. I was always depressed. I was sad a lot. And then also how expensive it is. That, my parents, they did their best. I mean, God bless their souls. They sent me with quite a bit of money at the time.
Yes.
But it was just enough for 1 year of school. And the rest of it, I kind of had to figure out. And it was just so hard. And that's why a lot of Kenyans end up coming here and not graduating. They end up going out of status. They, they have to hide a little bit. Because it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive. Yeah.
And for you, Carol, you went to the US, and for you, definitely you didn't have a challenge, let's like language barrier. But in terms of something, let's like culture shock, how are you able to deal with that? Because you're literally going into a new area that you've never ever gone, and you have to learn their ways.
What are some of the culture shocks you got there?
First, this one. When you go to someone's house here, like, people don't offer you food. In Kenya, when you go in someone's house, first they have like chai or they just have food for you. They know, even if you didn't come, they didn't prepare for you. Like you didn't.
They gotta feed you.
Didn't have a heads up, like you're going. They'll feed you or they'll give you a cup of tea. Something.
Yeah.
Here, you can go to someone's house and literally you'll talk as they're having their meal because they didn't expect you to come during the lunch hour or whatever. And they'll just like have their meal and you're sitting there and you're like, really?
And you're watching them.
Oh yeah. So I was new to this country first. I was like, how in Kenya I'm like, I'm going to so and so's house and whatever. So I'll go to their house and they'll be whatever they're having. They'll just
they'll share with you, yeah.
So I thought that's what happens here. I was like, whoa, yeah, no, they don't share.
Yani wanakula hivyo tu bila kushare.
Girl, I was like shocked because I'm like, what are you doing? Like eating? That's a culture shock.
And Carol, how many?
The other one.
No, it's okay. Just continue.
One other thing also was that I thought African Americans would be my best friends, like when I moved here.
Yeah.
And it was funny that I wasn't as accepted. I mean, obviously, I had to learn, understand why, and I'm good now.
Yeah.
It's been many years. But at the beginning, that was my shock. Like, I just thought we'd just all, they'd embrace me because I'm just like them. And it was harder for me to, like, penetrate their friendships more so than it was with the Caucasian people.
Isn't that very interesting? Because anyway, we don't want to get into that. So here you are.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah, let's not get into that. Here you are. You've moved to a foreign country. You've studied. You've gotten your degree. You want to come home, but your parents are advising, "Hey, but after kazi hapo kaki," and so you start looking for work. So, how easy was it to acclimatize with the with the system there, and even to get a job?
Luckily, I did an internship through school, so it was a little bit easier for me to get a job.
Yeah.
So I got a staff accounting job when I graduated. I did a little internship, and then it translated into staff accounting gig.
Yeah.
The only thing, again, is we are minorities, and whether we like to admit it or not, right? We are minorities.
What does that mean?
There's a little bit of a barrier at the beginning. Minorities means that we're not white, okay? We're not white, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of like an uphill battle to some extent to get recognized for what you do. So I had to figure that out at least the beginning of working and understanding how to put my foot down and how to speak what I know. Like, because in Kenya we're very polite.
Yeah.
When I grew up, we're very polite in the sense that unless someone asks you what you know, you feel like you don't volunteer this information because you look like a know-it-all. You know, so you don't want to sound like I'm kiherehere. You know, you want to sound like someone who, has some sense, okay? You have some manners. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to speak until I'm asked.
Yeah.
There, the Muzungu, who is started off the same as you as a staff accountant, they're volunteering information so quick. Whatever they know, they don't even wait to be asked. They're saying all these things they know, so they end up raising up the ranks, if that makes sense, because you are a little bit afraid of, you don't have a voice to some extent. But I had to learn that quick. After like maybe the first year and a half of working, I was like, oh, yeah, I know that. I've been doing that. So trying to assert myself, if that makes sense. And I feel like Africans are doing that more. Kenyans are doing that more when they come here than when I first moved here. Because when I first moved here, I felt like I had to be polite and, don't be a kiherehere, don't be amjuaji, like wait to be asked. Then I figured, when you're working, you have to let people know what you know. Otherwise, they will not know what you know, and they will not give you the opportunities that are well deserved of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I had to learn that quick.
Okay. And currently, what are you doing?
So now I run a little brand called Moms Have This to Say. It's like a blog, but it's everything mom related. So everything to do with what advice for moms, what moms should be doing. Just a place for moms, really.
All right,
and
we're going to take another short commercial break, Carol. So when we come back, you can talk to us about Moms Have This to Say, which is our online platform, which is currently running. If you know any moms, maybe you need to listen in very carefully so you can get some advice. Yani tips zenye unaweza patia mama ajue. 17 minutes to 9 a.m. Shout out to Alan Otumo Jr. Nimekwambiaje? Hey, stay to.
Mbio yataishia.
Hey. Alan Otumo Jr. amesema, Father Lord, United States of America has always been my dream destination since childhood. I'm not giving up anytime soon. From your lips to God's ears.
Good vibes only on Vibes Radio.
Minutes to 9 a.m. We are on my grind with Carol Wilhelm. She's in the United States of America, and we're talking about relocating and starting your own business. And if this is something you want to do, listen in close. Carol,
yeah,
we are back.
Hey.
So what's Moms Have This to Say all about?
Okay, so quick description of why I started it. So I'm an accountant. My husband is a developer, and we our base is in Orange County, California, but we end up moving where he's working in terms of like where he's doing a project.
Yeah.
And, right. So we lived in a place called Catalina at some point, which is an island off of California, and then we went back to Orange County. Then now we're in Maui, beautiful Maui. Maui is like paradise. So because of that, obviously I wasn't doing the job that I was doing. I decided to do some consulting work, and that was great in California. But moving here, I have a kid, so there's a whole lot of some things I have to take care of, which is my kid. My kid is my first priority.
Yeah.
So the reason I started Moms is Maui is new. I'm new to Maui. I'm not in my usual circle of friends, and I'm not in my usual community.
Yes.
If that makes sense. So, and mom life is very lonely. If anyone ever tells you, I don't care how awesome you are and how many groups of friends you have, which I've had a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lonely place because your kid is always going to be a little different than another kid, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you're in a new place. Maui was new. So I sat down and I'm like, I don't have my MOPS, which is Mothers of Preschoolers, that I was in leadership while on the mainland. And I was like, I could start something for moms. So I bet I'm not the only mom who is a little lost on Maui. So.
Hello?
Carol, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
Yes, and we can hear you now. You were saying?
Okay, so it's a brand of all things mom that you can access online. Because I couldn't physically go to a lot of things, again, taking care of my kid, make sure she's in school and all that good stuff. I didn't have the capacity of joining any mommy anything. So it's like a mommy tribe, a mommy, like I call it a mommy tribe.
So it's like a mommy group online.
Yeah.
It's online.
Yes. And so moms share their experiences. I write about my experiences, and moms share their experiences so that you encourage that you're not the only one going through whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
And I physically had that on the mainland with another kind of group like that. But mine, the only thing that's different is that it's accessed online, and we encourage each other and we share notes. And especially right now, I mostly target single parents. Not that I'm a single parent, but I understand the struggle of single parenthood because when I'm far away from my usual community, which is on the mainland, I realize how lonely it is. And I just imagine I'm a single mom. You don't have a partner to like take care of the extra stuff that comes in motherhood. And so we do something called Single Mom Sunday, and we just highlight a mom and we just talk about what their experiences are and how they've come through it on the other side and what struggles they're going through and what highlights that they have, that the successes. And you realize, I'm not the only single mom who's going through this. Oh, hey, I can learn this from that single mom or whatever. And just everything mom related you can access on my blog, on my website, on our Instagram page, on Facebook.
What is the age group? What is the age group of the moms?
I realize most of the moms that mostly log on are usually between 25 to 40. But we do have all ages of moms, right? Yeah. Because wouldn't you want to learn from a successful mom who's had a kid, who has grandkids and has raised an amazing successful family? Yeah. Wouldn't you want to learn from a single mom who has raised this amazing kid who is doing big things in the world? Like, you want to understand, like, how did you do it? How are you not discouraged? Like, how did you get through the hard times? How did you do when your kid was a baby? Because again, newborns they're hard, right? Yeah. No sleep and all that good stuff. Kenyans are a little bit lucky because you all have maids. I mean, we have maids in Kenya, so maybe you don't need that much help. But here, I mean, maids are not necessarily a thing. Yeah. You have a nanny who comes probably for 4 hours in the afternoon, but mostly you're doing most of everything, right? Yeah. So you're trying to encourage a newborn, mom of a newborn. You're trying to encourage them that this stage will pass, and you're going to enjoy your kid. Then they immediately, moms of people who have just started school, and that stress and that sadness of like, I'm not going to see my kid anymore. She's going to be in school the whole day. So it's just to encourage moms. There's always a stage in motherhood that you want to understand, and you want to understand, does it last forever? Obviously it doesn't, but you want to know a mom who's gone through it, and most moms, every stage is different. So, but our age group is between 25 to 40 are mostly the people that log on, in my opinion.
Carol, what advice would you give our listeners in terms of looking for new opportunities in a different country as we wrap up?
Oh, perfect. What I would do is, what I would encourage you is, there's always a niche. There's always a place where you belong in a new country or wherever you are. There's something that is missing. For me, when I came here, what was missing is my mom, and that encouraged me to start Moms Have This to Say.
Yeah.
I love interior design. There's somebody out there who loves interior design. You just find out that your house looks just a smidge better than your neighbor's house. Why? Because you have good taste, right? So that could be something else that you could be like, oh, you know what? I could do some interior design. Start off by doing it for free for somebody. Take pictures, put it online, and someone's like, oh, I'd like something like that too. You can start that business. Some people are great at making hair. You know what I mean? It's expensive, by the way, to do braids here. It's $450 to do braids.
Wait,
so
Carol,
Kenya,
let me ask this question. You're saying watu wa Kenyatta Market wana waste talent zao hapa Kenyatta Market wanafaa kuja stay too?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Do you know the reason I started doing my own hair? Is because I was told $450. I said, baloney. I'm going to figure out how to do hair. And I figured out how to do braids.
Wow.
Yeah, $450. Seriously, to do braids.
Man.
So there's always something that you can do. Find your niche. Find something that's missing in your community. Put your foot in there and get ahead.
I like it. Thank you so much, Carol. Carol Wilhelm is in the States and shared with us her story of moving. Carol, one last question. Would you move back to Kenya? You would?
I would, if my husband would find a development gig that he can do, because his thing is just like, I would. Okay. I love my country. I always love Kenya.
All right. Thank you so much, Carol. Yeah. And do have a great day. Carol, I know it's in the middle of the night. She's speaking to us, analala bado, lakini it was very insightful. What did you learn today?
Let's say right now, especially during COVID, when you're struggling, there's always a new opportunity out there. You just need to take that risk and reach out to a different company. Si huku Kenya peke yake ndio kuna kazi.
Mi nimesikia natoka hapa Kenya,
ndio
naenda kushuka wazungu braids, naenda kushukisha anti saloon. Nata sitako naibu. Mtu asifikiri ati naenda state kufanya master. I'm going to master the art of kushuka.
This is the Modern Vibes on Vibes Radio.
Man, call it. Good vibration.
Modern Vibes, where you are the MVP.
Let me hear a drum play.
Rise and shine to positive vibes with the MVPs every morning.
And now for our feature presentation.